we go. Okay, so in my last video, I asked you to comment what type of content you'd like to see next. And a lot of you asked for advice. Now, no one really kind of specified advice in a specific area. So I've just put together a few pieces of advice, some thoughts that I found useful and I hope will help you to get the most out of your magic too. So let's begin. 1. Immersion. If you want to become really good at anything, and this doesn't just apply to magic, then you need to immerse yourself into that world. So in the case of magic, you need to read as much as you can, watch as much as you can, attend as much as you can, conventions, lectures, sessions, live shows, and if you can, meet up with people that have made a name for themselves and try to unveil what it is that's allowed them to make their mark. 2. Perform regularly. Accept as many opportunities to perform as you can. Don't just wait for those opportunities to arrive. Go out there and make them happen. Because it's only through doing that, it's only through experimenting like that, that you'll quickly start to identify your strengths and your weaknesses. And once you gain an awareness for that, it allows you to address whatever improvements need to be made, making you more of a flexible performer, and it helps you to see which direction you should be taking in magic. 3. Quality, not quantity. So this is an ancient golden rule in magic. Try to learn a few tricks really well, rather than just a ton of tricks inadequately, or at least not to their full potential. If you just take one trick and you work and work and work at it, you make it the best it can be, and you have theory that kind of justifies every aspect of it, I promise you that you'll be so much better off than if you just kind of consume as many tricks as you can. 4. Be open-minded. If you're into just one aspect of magic, one area like I am with card magic, then it's really easy to think that you can't find inspiration for that thing outside of it. But the truth is, you can find inspiration in absolutely anything. It just depends how hard you look for it, what perspective you put on it. So whatever type of magic you're into, whatever your performance style is, don't let that stop you from exploring outside of that, looking at different types of magic, different performance styles, different types of staging or magicians, or even outside of magic, because that inspiration absolutely exists. And if you develop that ability to seek inspiration in anything, it's such an enriching quality to be able to bring into your process. 5. Consider your image. So this is for if you're out performing, it's really important to consider your appearance, the way you present yourself, because it has a huge effect on the way that the audience perceives you, and not only that, but on the way that you feel as well. So if you want to be dressing yourself in a way that communicates the right messages and allows you to feel confident and positive. 6. Ask yourself questions. Okay, so when you make a new discovery, or you find a solution to something, or an answer that helps you progress in some way, there will always be a question that could precede that answer. So sometimes, rather than just waiting for an answer to come along, ask yourself questions about everything and anything relating to what you're doing in magic, the actions that you make or don't make or could make. Ask yourself, what if I did this, or how would I go about doing that? And by doing that, asking yourself a whole variety of questions, you create shortcuts to finding answers that you might otherwise never stumble upon. 7. Keep a notepad. So this is something that I do religiously. If you're out and about and you have an idea for a trick or a presentation, or you see something you think might be worth revisiting, then don't let that thought dwindle away. Write it down, and that way you're ensuring that you're not going to forget about it. You can go back to it and take from it what you can. Otherwise, you never know what you might be missing out on. 8. Scripting. So scripting your tricks, I think, is an integral part of devising engaging, flowing, interesting performance. I think it's very difficult to to instill any kind of depth or richness into a performance, if you just fly in there without considering or barely considering what it is that you're going to say, through with scripting and choreography and timing, which surface through scripting, you can communicate and embed something really amazing. When you're performing for someone, the chances are that's the first time they've ever seen a magician, or at least live. So go the extra mile to make it special for them and make it count. And within that whole process of scripting, it will expand your understanding and help to appreciate other performers too. 9, welcome criticism. So criticism is something that you kind of rather not hear, right? But actually, if you listen to it and you act upon it, it will guide you in the right direction. It's there to stop you forming bad habits. So criticism is something that naturally you might not want to hear, but get used to it, be comfortable with it, because it's one of the most valuable and accessible tools you've got. 10, help other magicians. Now this might be kind of tricky if you don't live near other magicians, but if you do, meet up with them, help one another out, you'll both gain from that. 11, film yourself. So having somebody film you is a really helpful way to being able to see yourself as the audience do. You can only really gauge how a performance goes by the audience's reaction and the way that you felt it when you watch yourself back on camera. You notice things that you might have never even considered before, or just were completely oblivious to. For example, when I first watched myself back on camera, I realised that I was just rushing so much, needlessly. I was just rushing. And if it wasn't for the camera, I would have known that, and I would have been able to amend that. So it's a really useful tool. 12, be you. So a lot of people who want to try and stand out in magic, they emulate other performers. But it's important to remember that you are already unique. And as cheesy as that sounds, it's true, you are the only you in the world. So by incorporating all the things that make you who you are into what you do, you will already have an act and a persona that's fresh. 13, take risks. So you can never really be sure if something's going to be worthwhile until you just do it. If you go to a performance and you try something new and it works, then that's perfect, that's all good. But if it doesn't work, if it doesn't quite land, then you're still going to be able to go away from that situation having learned something new. You'll still gain something of use. It's like with these vlogs, I've got no idea whether or not they're going to be worthwhile, but I can't predict that until I just give it a go. So either way, it's just take a risk, it's a win-win. 14, consistency. So even magicians at the very top of their game are consistent with the amount of, in the way in which they apply themselves. They don't just become complacent and stop trying. Magic, especially as a career, is a full-time job. And to sustain progress, you have to consistently you have to be consistent with your efforts. 15, be nice. That's all you gotta do. Just be nice. All of the most talented people I've ever met have just been the most humble, modest, nicest people you can imagine. And I think that's a really important thing to remember, is that if you want to sort of fulfill your dreams, then you're going to have to encounter thousands of people along the way. You depend upon each one of those people to help support your journey. And they're only going to be there if you're nice, if you're respectful and you're thankful, so be nice. If you also have some advice that's been useful for you, leave it as a comment below and I'll make a follow-up video at a later date. Thanks for watching.